Alien combat theory failed the moment she drew two revolvers. The wind carried a strange, metallic smell, and every small movement in the shadows seemed larger than it really was. Lily Harper crouched behind a wide rock, her eyes scanning the horizon. Her breathing was calm, slow, controlled. She could hear the faint clicks and hisses of the alien squad moving across the rocky terrain, their armor scraping against stones as they advanced. Lily adjusted the strap of her small backpack, making sure her weapons were ready. She had two revolvers, sleek and polished, with a weight in her hands that gave her confidence. She had practiced with them since she was a teenager, shooting in all kinds of conditions, against moving targets and under pressure. Her father had taught her that a weapon is only as good as the person holding it, and today, that lesson was about to be tested. She had been sent on a simple reconnaissance mission, just observe, record, and return. But everything had gone wrong the moment the alien squad appeared on the horizon. Their technology was advanced, their training precise, and they moved like a single organism. They were mercenaries hired by an unknown client, sent to capture or kill humans on the moon. Lily had no idea why, and there was no time to figure it out now. Survival came first. The aliens had been taught to fight humans as if humans were weak and panicked easily. That was what made them dangerous. They expected fear. They expected hesitation, but Lily felt no fear. She had faced dangers before, even on Earth, and she knew the value of patience and observation. She stayed low, letting them move closer, letting them make mistakes, while her mind ran through the possible scenarios. One alien moved ahead of the group, slightly separated from the rest. Its armor was dull gray with dark green highlights, and its eyes glowed faintly in the dim sunlight. Lily could see its hands moving in strange gestures, as if it was sending commands to the others. She guessed it was the leader. Most alien leaders moved slightly slower, focusing on strategy rather than direct attacks. That meant one thing: the first strike would come from the other soldiers. She shifted slightly, careful not to make any noise. The wind picked up, carrying small stones over her hiding spot, and she froze. The alien leader paused and looked in her direction. Lily held her breath, willing the creature to look away, to believe that the rock in front of her was nothing but part of the landscape. Slowly the alien turned and Lily exhaled quietly. She could feel her heartbeat in her ears, but it was steady. She had trained for this, and her mind worked like a machine, calculating every move. The alien squad split into two groups, surrounding her position. Lily smiled slightly to herself. They were trying to corner her just as their combat training demanded. She counted their numbers: 6 soldiers, 1 leader, and maybe another hidden somewhere. It was enough to overwhelm an unprepared human, but Lily was not unprepared. She had studied alien movements, their tactics, and their weaknesses. She knew that they relied on patterns and rules, and that made them predictable. A small rock slid down from the cliff above her. Lily tensed, expecting an immediate reaction from the aliens. One of the soldiers turned its head sharply and hissed something to the others. They adjusted their positions, closing in. Lily took the moment to glance at the revolvers strapped to her hips. The metal glinted in the weak light. She could feel their weight, the balance, and the power. 2 revolvers, small enough to move quickly but powerful enough to stop an attacker instantly. She had no illusions. She could not take all of them at once. She would need to rely on speed, skill, and surprise. The aliens had trained for centuries, maybe longer, in their theory of human combat. They believed that humans panicked under pressure, that humans hesitated, and that humans could be outsmarted by numbers and tactics. Lily knew better. She was human, and that meant she could adapt, improvise, and act unpredictably. That unpredictability would be her advantage. The wind shifted again, carrying the hiss of alien movement closer. Lily slowly moved her hand toward the holster, making sure it was ready but hidden. Her eyes never left the nearest soldier. She could see the tension in its movements, the way it paused, the way it scanned for threats. The alien thought it was in control, but it did not see her, not yet. She remembered the words of her old instructor back on Earth. A fight is not just about strength. It is about timing, awareness, and choice. Make the first choice and the rest will follow. Lily had never forgotten that. She had spent years learning to stay calm under pressure, to make her first choice count, and to act before her opponent could react. Today, that lesson was more important than ever. The aliens moved closer, their formation tight. Lily noticed small details, a slight hesitation in the leader's movements, a small pause when one soldier stepped on loose rock, the way their eyes scanned too quickly. These were cracks, and she could exploit them. She adjusted her stance, crouching slightly lower, keeping her balance on the uneven ground. Her finger rested lightly on the trigger, not tensed, just ready. Then the first soldier lunged forward, faster than the rest, expecting her to flinch. Lily reacted without thinking. She brought her revolvers into her hands, one in each, and aimed at the moving figure. The alien froze, surprised at the sudden appearance of two weapons. Its training did not account for a human drawing two revolvers so fast. Lily's first shot fired with a sharp crack, hitting the alien's weapon and knocking it from its hands. The alien stumbled backward, its balance broken, and for the first time, fear flickered in its glowing eyes. The other aliens hesitated, unsure what had just happened. Their theory of human behavior had failed immediately. They had trained for centuries to face humans who ran, who panicked, who hesitated. But Lily did none of those things. She remained calm, composed, and deadly. She moved forward slightly, her revolver steady, ready to fire again if necessary. The leader hissed commands, but the others were not moving in sync anymore. Confusion spread quickly. Lily could see it in the way they glanced at each other, trying to figure out what to do. She was no longer the hunted. She was the one in control. She had broken their formation, shattered their expectations, and forced them into uncertainty. She took a deep breath, letting the calmness flow through her. The wind carried dust across the rocky terrain, and she used it as cover to move slightly to the left. She aimed at the nearest alien, the one who had hesitated after the first shot. Another sharp crack, and the alien fell to the ground, clutching its arm. Pain and surprise were written across its face. The other soldiers paused again, unsure whether to attack or retreat. Lily knew she had only moments. The aliens would recover quickly and their leader would adapt. She needed a plan, not just for survival but for victory. She scanned the rocks and cliffs, looking for anything she could use to her advantage. A small pile of boulders to her right, a narrow path leading behind the rocks, and a higher ledge that could give her a clear line of sight. She memorized each option, calculating which would give her the best chance if the aliens advanced again. The leader hissed sharply, louder this time. Lily realized it was signaling the soldiers to attack together. She tightened her grip on the revolvers and took a step forward. Her eyes locked on the first alien who was closest to her, the one still trying to recover from the shock. She could see its hesitation, and she knew it would be her first target. Then, before the rest of the squad could coordinate, she fired. The shot hit perfectly and the alien fell, leaving a small gap in the formation. Lily used that gap to move quickly, her movements fluid and fast. She was small, agile, and unpredictable. Each step, each breath, each shot was calculated, yet seemed effortless. The aliens had never encountered a human like this. Their combat theory had failed before it had even begun. She paused behind a wide rock, taking a moment to observe the battlefield. 4 soldiers remained, scattered and uncertain. Their leader stayed back, watching her, trying to figure out her strategy. Lily smiled faintly. This was only the beginning. She had shown them that humans could be more than just numbers to be overwhelmed, more than just targets to be calculated. She had shown them that a single human, with skill, courage, and intelligence, could turn the tide of any encounter. The wind shifted again, carrying the hiss of the alien leader closer. Lily adjusted her stance and checked her weapons. She had survived the first encounter, broken their formation and sent fear into their ranks. But she knew the fight was not over. The aliens were still dangerous, still trained, and still armed. She needed to keep moving, keep thinking, and keep fighting if she wanted to survive. And she would. Lily Harper had faced impossible odds before, and she had always found a way. Today would be no different. She was human, and humans did not back down. Humans did not follow patterns. Humans adapted, survived, and overcame. She took a deep breath, ready for whatever the aliens would throw at her next. The red dust swirled around her, the sun dipped lower in the sky, and the sound of hissing and movement grew closer. Lily Harper tightened her grip on her revolvers, and with a small, confident smile, prepared to face the rest of the squad. The battle had only just begun. The alien leader hissed loudly, sending a warning signal to the remaining soldiers. Their glowing eyes fixed on Lily Harper as they slowly advanced, more cautiously now. Each step they took was measured, calculated, but they were already off balance from the shock of the first encounter. Lily watched them carefully, keeping low and moving behind the jagged rocks. Her revolvers felt natural in her hands, and she moved like she had done this many times before, even though it was her first fight against these creatures. She knew the aliens had one advantage: numbers. Even one human could be dangerous, but 6 trained aliens plus their leader could still overpower her if she made a mistake. Lily needed to use the terrain. The rocks, the cliffs, the narrow paths, all of it could help her. She moved silently, keeping her eyes on the enemies. Every now and then she peeked around a boulder to see their positions. They were spreading out, trying to encircle her. One soldier moved too quickly and slipped on the loose red dust. Lily didn't hesitate. She aimed with her right revolver and fired a quick shot. The alien fell backward, its weapon clattering across the ground. The others hissed and slowed down, clearly shaken. They had trained for centuries to expect human fear, human panic, and human mistakes. Lily had given them none of those things. Her calm, steady movements were unnerving. The alien leader hissed again, signaling them to regroup. Lily moved along a narrow path between 2 cliffs, keeping herself hidden but watching them closely. She knew the leader would try to flank her if she stayed in one place too long. The path was narrow, and there were loose stones underfoot, but she moved carefully, adjusting each step. Her eyes scanned for every possible danger. She could hear the hiss of the aliens behind her, and the occasional click of their weapons being readied. Suddenly, one alien broke from the group and tried to climb a small cliff to get a better angle. Lily didn't panic. She raised her left revolver and fired. The alien froze, caught off guard, and slid back down to the ground. She fired again to disable its weapon completely. The rest of the aliens hissed in frustration. Their perfect plan was falling apart piece by piece, and it was all because of a human who did not follow patterns. Lily took a deep breath and kept moving. She had to stay ahead, stay unpredictable. Humans had one thing aliens could not calculate: creativity. The aliens could follow rules, simulate possibilities, and react, but they could not think outside the program they had been taught. Lily thought fast, planning 3 steps ahead. She would make them underestimate her again, lure them into mistakes, and then strike where they were weakest. She climbed a small ridge and took a moment to rest behind a large boulder. From here, she could see most of the alien formation. 4 soldiers remained, and the leader stayed at the back, watching carefully. Lily smiled faintly. She was alone, outnumbered, but the aliens were hesitant now. Their movements were cautious. They had learned too late that humans were unpredictable. One alien moved forward too quickly, and Lily fired 2 shots in quick succession. The first shot knocked its weapon from its hands. The second hit its leg, forcing it to fall to the ground. The other 2 soldiers froze. They were trained killers, but they were not ready for someone who moved like Lily. They had studied human combat patterns and expected fear, hesitation, or mistakes. Instead, they found calmness, precision, and deadly skill. The alien leader hissed again, clearly frustrated. It moved closer, trying to find the right moment to strike. Lily could see its glowing eyes scanning her, looking for a weakness. She shifted slightly, careful not to give herself away. She knew the leader would try to use its soldiers as cover. That meant timing was critical. She waited, calculating the moment when they would make the wrong move. The wind blew stronger and small dust storms swirled around the rocks. Lily used the dust as cover to move closer to the aliens. She stayed low, silent, her revolvers ready. One soldier moved again, stepping on a loose stone that slid under its feet. Lily fired, hitting the alien's arm and causing it to drop its weapon. The alien hissed in pain and frustration. The other two soldiers hesitated. They had trained for centuries, but they were losing control. Lily's heart was steady. She did not rush. She did not panic. Every movement was deliberate, every shot calculated. She knew she could not waste bullets, but she also knew that precision could give her the advantage. She had trained for situations like this, and now she was using every skill she had learned. The aliens had trained to exploit human fear. She had none. The alien leader hissed louder and signaled the last two soldiers to advance together. They moved cautiously, trying to stay in sync. Lily waited, her eyes tracking their every movement. As they stepped forward, she raised both revolvers and fired in quick succession. One soldier fell to the ground, its weapon destroyed, the other froze, surprised by the speed and accuracy of the attack. The leader hissed in frustration, realizing that its soldiers were no longer a threat. It moved forward slowly, keeping a safe distance, watching Lily. She smiled faintly, knowing this was the moment of truth. The leader had no backup, no reinforcements nearby. It was a powerful alien, but it had never faced a human who did not follow patterns, who moved with precision, and who could adapt in an instant. Lily took a step forward, keeping her revolver steady. She could see the alien's body tense, its glowing eyes narrowing. It hissed sharply but did not attack. Lily stayed calm, waiting for the right moment. She knew the leader would make a mistake if she did not rush. Patience was her weapon. Humans could wait, observe, and strike at the perfect moment. The alien leader lunged suddenly, faster than Lily expected. She fired both revolvers at the same time. One shot hit its weapon, knocking it aside. The second shot grazed its arm, causing it to hiss in pain. Lily rolled to the side, using a boulder for cover, and fired again as the alien tried to regain its balance. Each shot was precise, disabling rather than killing, showing her skill but also giving her control of the battlefield. The remaining soldiers hesitated, unsure what to do. Their leader was struggling, injured, and their numbers were too few to act without risking more harm. Lily took the opportunity to move forward, advancing slowly but steadily. She stayed low, her revolvers ready, her eyes never leaving the enemy. She was in control now. One soldier tried to retreat, but Lily fired, hitting its leg and causing it to stumble. The alien fell to the ground and the others stopped moving. Fear and confusion spread quickly. Lily could see it in their glowing eyes. They had trained to face humans as weak and predictable. They had not expected skill, courage, or calm under pressure. The alien leader hissed again, clearly frustrated and in pain. Lily smiled faintly. She had broken their formation, taken down their soldiers, and forced their leader into a defensive position. She had done what no human had ever done before against this group. She had turned the hunters into the hunted. The wind picked up, carrying the sound of distant rocks shifting and the hiss of the aliens behind her. Lily moved slowly, keeping her revolvers aimed at the remaining enemies. She knew she could not let her guard down. Even one mistake could cost her life. But she also knew something important. Humans were unpredictable, and that was their greatest strength. The alien leader tried one more time to coordinate its remaining soldiers. It hissed commands, gesturing with its hands. Lily waited, watching carefully. She could see the hesitation in the soldiers, the way they paused and glanced at each other. Their training was failing. They could not anticipate a human who moved like Lily, who acted without fear, who adapted with every moment. Lily took a deep breath and fired again, disabling another alien's weapon. The remaining soldiers froze completely. Their leader hissed in frustration, injured and alone. Lily lowered her revolver slightly, not out of fear but out of strategy. She knew the aliens would panic if they thought she had the advantage. That panic would give her the upper hand in the next move. The leader hissed sharply and backed away, keeping its distance. The remaining soldiers followed, unsure of what to do. Lily stepped forward slowly, showing confidence and control. She knew she had won this round, not by brute force, but by skill, patience, and human ingenuity. The aliens had relied on combat theory, on patterns, on expectations. Lily had shattered all of that. She stood there, revolvers ready, watching the remaining enemies retreat. Her heart was steady, her mind calm. She had proven something important. Humans were not weak, humans were not predictable, and humans could survive against even the most skilled opponents. The wind carried the sound of the retreating aliens, and Lily Harper smiled faintly. She had survived. She had won. But she knew this was only the beginning. The universe was full of dangers, and humans had a reputation to defend. She holstered her revolvers, her eyes scanning the horizon. Today she had shown that one human could challenge and defeat aliens trained for centuries. Tomorrow, the challenge might be even greater. Lily took a deep breath, feeling the weight of the moment, and prepared herself for whatever lay ahead. She had fought, she had won, and she had shown the truth about humans, that they were clever, adaptable, and capable of facing the impossible. And she would keep proving that, one battle at a time. The red dust of Kepler-47b settled slowly after the retreat of the alien soldiers. Lily Harper stayed low behind a large boulder, her revolver still ready in her hands. She knew the aliens were not gone. They were only regrouping, planning their next attack. Her eyes scanned the horizon, looking for movement, listening for any sound that might give away their position. The wind carried the faint hiss of their communication, and she could feel their eyes on her, even if she could not see them all. She moved carefully, keeping low, crouching behind rocks and boulders. Every step was slow and deliberate. Lily knew she could not rush. The aliens were smart. Their combat theory might have failed once, but they would adapt quickly if given time. She needed to stay unpredictable, to use the terrain, to make every move count. Her mind ran through all the possibilities. She had taken down most of the soldiers, but their leader remained, cautious and dangerous. Lily knew the leader would not make a direct attack until it thought it had the advantage. That meant she could prepare, observe, and wait for the perfect moment. Humans were patient. Humans could wait longer than most aliens could. That patience was her weapon. A shadow moved across a distant cliff. Lily froze, watching. The alien leader had positioned itself there, using the height to gain an advantage. Its glowing eyes scanned the terrain, searching for her. She adjusted her stance, keeping herself hidden while planning her next move. She knew she could not stay exposed for long, but she also could not rush blindly. The wind kicked up again, carrying small dust storms across the rocks. Lily used the dust as cover to move closer to the cliff, careful to keep low and quiet. She could see the alien leader's armor reflecting the dim sunlight. It moved slowly, calculating, testing the area. Lily smiled faintly. The alien believed it was in control. It believed it could find her, but it had not accounted for human unpredictability. She spotted a narrow path leading up the side of the cliff, partially hidden by rocks and boulders. It was risky, but it could give her a surprise angle on the alien leader. Lily checked her revolvers, feeling the weight in her hands. Two weapons, small but deadly, precise and fast. She could use them to control the battlefield, to strike where the aliens least expected. Lily began her climb carefully, using every rock and ledge for support. The dust made it slippery, but she moved with confidence, keeping her balance. The alien leader had not noticed her yet, focused on scanning the area below. She crept higher, keeping hidden, moving as quietly as she could. Her heart was steady, her mind calm. Every step was deliberate. Halfway up the cliff, she paused behind a rock, catching her breath and observing the alien. The leader was waiting, patient, scanning for any sign of movement. It hissed, a low, warning sound, but did not move closer. Lily knew it was testing her. She stayed still, letting it think she was nowhere near. Patience. That was her advantage. Humans could wait, adapt, and strike at the perfect moment. Suddenly, the alien leader hissed sharply and moved closer to the edge of the cliff. Lily had anticipated this. She took a deep breath and aimed both revolvers, one at the leader's weapon, the other at its legs. She fired quickly, hitting the weapon and causing it to clatter to the ground. The alien stumbled, its legs hit, and it hissed in surprise and pain. Lily rolled to the side behind a rock, ready for the next attack. The leader hissed again and lunged forward, faster than she expected. Lily fired both revolvers again, hitting the alien's shoulder and arm. It stumbled, trying to regain balance, but Lily was already moving. She advanced slowly, keeping her weapons trained on the alien, making small, controlled movements. The leader hissed in frustration, realizing that its usual strategies were useless. Below, the remaining soldiers had regrouped slightly, trying to get back into position. Lily knew she could not ignore them. She needed to keep the leader focused on her while also preventing the others from surrounding her. She fired a few quick shots at the nearest soldier, hitting its weapon and leg. The alien stumbled and fell, screaming in its alien way. The leader hissed sharply, clearly angry at the loss of another soldier. Lily moved closer to the cliff's edge, careful not to overextend. She used the terrain to her advantage, keeping herself partially hidden while still maintaining a clear line of sight. The alien leader moved again, trying to flank her, but she anticipated the move and fired another shot, hitting its leg. It stumbled, nearly falling from the cliff. Lily smiled faintly. Humans had one thing aliens could not calculate: creativity and unpredictability. The alien hissed, frustrated and injured. Lily knew she had to finish this quickly. She could not stay on the cliff forever. She adjusted her stance, keeping low, and fired again, this time aiming at the alien's torso. The shot hit, and the leader fell to the ground, struggling to move. The remaining soldiers froze, unsure whether to advance or retreat. Lily had taken the leader out of the fight temporarily, and the soldiers were hesitant. She moved down slightly from the cliff, keeping her revolvers ready. Her mind raced with possibilities. She could retreat and wait for reinforcements, but she knew the aliens would come back stronger. She could try to finish the fight here, taking on the remaining soldiers one by one. She chose the second option. Humans could adapt and survive, and she was not about to give up now. Lily advanced slowly, using the rocks and boulders as cover. The remaining soldiers hissed and moved cautiously, clearly uncertain. Lily fired a shot at the nearest one, hitting its weapon and causing it to fall. The alien hissed, trying to attack, but Lily moved quickly, rolling behind a rock and firing again. Another alien fell, leaving only one more soldier standing, along with the injured leader. The last soldier glared at her, its glowing eyes filled with fear and surprise. Lily smiled faintly. This was the moment she had been waiting for. Humans could face impossible odds and still find a way to win. She adjusted her stance, keeping her revolvers ready, and fired a precise shot, hitting the alien's leg. It fell to the ground, unable to move. The alien leader hissed angrily, trying to attack, but Lily was faster. She rolled to the side, firing again, hitting its shoulder. The leader fell to the ground, struggling to move. Lily stood over it, revolvers ready, keeping a safe distance. The fight was almost over. She had shown them the truth. Humans were unpredictable, clever, and deadly. She paused for a moment, catching her breath and observing the battlefield. The dust swirled around her and the sun dipped lower in the sky. Lily felt a sense of calm. She had survived the fight, defeated the aliens, and proven that humans were more than just prey. She had shown that one human with skill, courage, and patience could take on enemies trained for centuries. The alien leader hissed weakly, clearly in pain. Lily lowered her revolver slightly, not out of fear, but to signal that the fight was over. The remaining soldiers were incapacitated, and the leader had no strength to continue. Lily had won this encounter, not through brute force alone, but through strategy, skill, and human ingenuity. She moved carefully, keeping an eye on the leader. It hissed weakly, trying to rise, but Lily's presence was enough to stop it. She knew the aliens would retreat now, regroup, and report the outcome. Humans had survived another encounter, and the aliens had learned a valuable lesson. Human combat was not predictable, and humans could adapt and overcome even the most skilled opponents. Lily took a deep breath, feeling the weight of the moment. She had fought, she had won, and she had shown the truth about humans. The universe was full of dangers, but she had proven that humans could face them and survive. Her revolvers were still ready, her mind sharp and her spirit calm. She had turned the tide of the battle, not just by fighting, but by thinking, adapting, and acting when the moment was right. The dust settled around her as the sun set, casting long shadows across the rocky terrain. Lily stood tall, revolvers in hand, watching the retreating aliens. They had underestimated her, underestimated humans, and paid the price. She smiled faintly, knowing that this was only one of many battles to come. Humans had the skill, the courage, and the ingenuity to survive against any enemy, and she was living proof. She holstered her revolvers and moved cautiously, checking for any signs of remaining threats. The aliens had retreated for now, but Lily knew they would return. Humans had a reputation to uphold, and she was determined to show that no alien, no matter how skilled or trained, could break the human spirit. Lily Harper took a deep breath, feeling the weight of the moment, and prepared for the challenges that lay ahead. The fight had been won, but the universe was vast and dangers were everywhere. She had survived, she had conquered, and she had shown the truth about humans: clever, adaptable, and unstoppable. The red dust had not yet settled when Lily Harper felt it. A deep vibration rolled through the ground, slow and heavy, like a distant heartbeat. She stopped moving and placed one hand on the rock beside her. The vibration came again, stronger this time. Something big was coming. She turned her head and scanned the horizon. At first she saw nothing but rocks and dust. Then she noticed movement far away. Shapes were rising from behind the cliffs. Tall shapes, armored shapes, not soldiers this time. These were heavier units. Lily's calm did not break, but her focus sharpened. The aliens had not given up. They had changed tactics. The injured alien leader was still alive, lying against a broken rock. Its glowing eyes followed Lily as she moved. It made a weak hissing sound, not angry now, but alert. Lily understood. This was not over. She checked her revolvers again. The metal felt warm in her hands. She counted her remaining shots in her head. Enough to fight, but not enough to waste. She would have to be careful. The ground shook again. 3 large alien machines stepped into view. They walked on thick legs, each step crushing rocks into powder. Their armor was dark and heavy, built to stop most weapons. On top of each machine sat a gun platform that slowly turned, scanning the area. Lily had seen designs like this in reports: heavy suppression units. Built to control battlefields, built to crush resistance. The alien leader hissed again, louder this time. Lily did not look at it. Her eyes stayed on the machines. She knew what the leader was thinking. It believed the battle was turning back in its favor. Lily moved slowly, staying low, using the rocks for cover. She could not fight those machines head-on. That would be foolish. Humans survived by thinking, not by charging into death. She studied the machines carefully. They were strong, but also slow. Their guns tracked movement in wide arcs. Their legs moved with heavy force but poor balance on uneven ground. That was a weakness. Lily smiled faintly. She moved away from the injured aliens, drawing the machine's attention. One of the gun platforms turned toward her. A low hum filled the air as it powered up. Lily ran. Energy fire struck the rocks behind her, exploding dust and stone. She did not panic. She changed direction suddenly, sliding behind a narrow ridge. The machine fired again, but the blast hit empty ground. The other machines began to move, trying to surround her. Lily climbed higher, moving toward a steep area filled with loose rocks and narrow paths. She remembered something her father once told her. Big things fall harder. She reached a high ledge and stopped. The machines moved closer, their steps slow but steady. The ground shook with each one. Lily waited. When the first machine stepped onto the loose ground, she fired, not at the machine, at the rocks above it. The shot cracked stone. A second shot followed, then a third. The rocks shifted, then broke free. A wave of heavy stones crashed down onto the machine's legs. The machine tried to adjust, but it was too slow. One leg slipped, then another. With a deep metal sound, the machine fell forward, smashing into the ground. The other two machines stopped. Their systems struggled to understand what had happened. Lily did not wait. She moved again, faster now. She ran along the ridge, firing short, careful shots at the ground ahead of the next machine. The dust made its sensors unreliable. It fired blindly, missing her by meters. She slid behind a rock as energy fire passed over her head. The alien leader hissed loudly, angry now. It tried to crawl toward a communication device attached to its armor. Lily noticed. She fired once. The device shattered. The leader froze. Lily returned her focus to the machines. One of them had changed tactics. It lowered its center of gravity, moving slower but more stable. It learned. Good, Lily thought. That means you can make mistakes. She moved toward a narrow canyon between two cliffs. The machine followed, its heavy frame barely fitting. Its gun platform scraped stone as it moved. That was another weakness. Lily climbed the cliff wall using small ledges. Her hands moved fast, sure. She reached a position above the canyon and waited. When the machine moved fully inside, she fired down at the cliff wall. Stone broke loose. Large chunks fell onto the machine's upper frame. The gun platform jammed. The machine tried to reverse, but it was trapped. Lily fired again, this time at a joint exposed by the fallen armor. The shot hit perfectly. The joint sparked and locked. The machine stopped moving. One left. The last machine stayed back. It did not rush. It scanned slowly, carefully. It had learned from the others. Lily respected that. She moved quietly, circling wide. Her steps were slow, controlled. She stayed in the shadows, letting the dust and rocks hide her heat and movement. The machine turned slightly, tracking something that was not there. Lily threw a small stone far to the right. The sound echoed. The machine turned its guns. Lily ran the opposite direction. She reached the high ground again and took aim. This time she did not fire at the machine. She fired at the ground beneath one of its legs. The ground cracked. The machine shifted its weight. That was all she needed. She fired again. The leg slipped. The machine tried to correct, but its mass worked against it. Slowly, painfully, it tipped and fell sideways into a ravine. The sound echoed for several seconds before stopping. Silence returned. Lily stood still, breathing slowly. Her arms felt heavy but steady. She had done it. She turned back toward the battlefield. The remaining aliens were not moving. Some were injured. Some were watching her with wide, glowing eyes. The leader stared at her, its expression no longer angry. It was something else now, understanding. Lily walked toward it, calm, controlled. She stopped a safe distance away. The alien tried to speak through its damaged translator. The words were broken but clear enough. Human combat theory wrong. Lily said nothing. The alien continued. Human behavior not fixed, not weak. Lily lowered one revolver slightly, not in mercy, in confidence. The alien leader lowered its head, defeat. Lily turned away. She did not finish them. She did not need to. The message was already delivered. She walked toward the edge of the field and activated her beacon. A simple signal, mission update, hostiles defeated, area secured. As the signal pulsed into space, Lily looked back once more at the battlefield. Machines broken. Soldiers scattered. A theory shattered. The wind moved across the red dust again, soft now, almost peaceful. Lily Harper holstered her revolvers and stood tall against the alien sky. Humans did not win by strength alone. They won by thinking. And the galaxy was starting to learn that lesson the hard way. The red dust had barely settled when Lily Harper walked carefully across the battlefield. Broken machines and scattered alien soldiers littered the rocky terrain. The wind carried the faint hiss of the injured, the sound of metal scraping rocks, and the quiet groans of the aliens who had survived. Lily kept her revolvers ready in her hands. She knew the battle was not truly over. There was always a risk of hidden enemies or traps. Her eyes scanned every rock and boulder. Nothing moved at first, just the wind and the shifting dust. She had learned to stay alert. On Earth, she had survived many dangerous situations, but none had been like this. Kepler 47b was a harsh world. The sun barely reached the surface. The ground was sharp and uneven, and the aliens were relentless. But Lily had proven she could survive. She had outsmarted them, outmaneuvered them, and defeated them. The injured alien leader lay a few meters away, struggling to rise. Its glowing eyes followed her every move. Lily approached slowly, careful not to make sudden movements. She did not lower her revolvers entirely, but she did slow her pace. She wanted the alien to understand that humans did not rely only on weapons. Humans relied on strategy, patience, and intelligence. The alien leader hissed softly, a low sound that seemed almost like a sigh. It tried to speak through the broken translator, but the words came out garbled. Lily listened carefully, understanding some of the meaning. The alien had never expected a human to fight with such precision. Its combat theory had failed completely. Every prediction it had made about human behavior had been wrong. The humans had adapted, improvised, and survived. Lily stopped a few meters away from the alien leader. She did not need to attack further. The lesson had been delivered. Humans were not weak. Humans did not panic under pressure. Humans could take on enemies far stronger, far larger, and far more numerous, and win. The alien's gaze softened slightly, a recognition of defeat and perhaps even respect. She turned her eyes to the battlefield. The machines that had once seemed unstoppable lay broken, their metal twisted and cracked. Sparks flickered from damaged joints, and smoke rose in thin spirals into the red sky. The remaining alien soldiers huddled together, clearly afraid and unsure of what to do next. Lily knew that if she pressed the attack, she could eliminate them all. But she did not. Humans did not always destroy their enemies. Sometimes they let them live to learn. She holstered her revolvers and took a step forward. Her boots crunched against the red dust. She paused, breathing deeply, letting the calmness of victory settle over her. Humans had survived this encounter, and the aliens had learned something important. They could not predict humans. They could not control humans with theory or numbers. Humans were clever, adaptable, and dangerous when pushed. The alien leader slowly rose to its knees, its injuries obvious but not fatal. It hissed again, softer this time. Lily remained still, watching. There was no fear in her, only confidence. The alien leader seemed to understand that she was different from any human it had studied or fought before. Its soldiers looked at her nervously, their confidence broken. Lily spoke finally, her voice calm but firm. "You underestimated us." "That is your mistake." The alien leader did not respond in words, only in a low, frustrated hiss. Lily smiled faintly. It did not matter if it understood every word. The point was made. Humans were not predictable. Humans were not weak. Humans survived and adapted, no matter the odds. She moved slowly across the battlefield, keeping her eyes on the aliens. She checked every rock, every shadow, every crevice where a hidden enemy might be waiting. The remaining soldiers did not attack. They seemed frozen, unsure of what to do. Even their leader stayed on its knees, injured and cautious. Lily had not needed to fight them all. Her skill, her strategy, and her calmness had been enough. The wind blew again, stirring up the red dust and carrying the distant sound of movement. Lily stayed alert, listening. She could hear small groans and the clatter of broken metal, but no coordinated attack. The aliens had learned their lesson. For now, they would retreat. They would regroup and report back what had happened. Humans had survived and the aliens had suffered defeat. Lily stopped near the edge of a small cliff, looking down at the rocky valley below. The sun was low, casting long shadows across the terrain. She could see the alien machines, broken and motionless, and the scattered soldiers trying to move quietly away. Even the injured leader seemed reluctant to leave. Lily knew it would survive, but it would never forget this battle. Humans had proven themselves. Humans had won. She took a deep breath, feeling the weight of the fight, and slowly lowered her gaze to her revolvers. They were warm in her hands from constant use, but still precise and reliable. She had relied on them, but also on her own mind, her ability to adapt, and her patience. That combination had made her victorious. Humans did not just rely on weapons. Humans relied on thinking, on observing, on waiting for the perfect moment, and then acting decisively. The alien leader let out a soft hiss, almost a sound of respect, and motioned for its remaining soldiers to retreat. Lily watched as they moved carefully, keeping their distance, leaving the battlefield in silence except for the soft wind and the shifting dust. She did not follow them. Humans did not need to chase. Victory had already been won. She walked slowly across the rocky ground, observing the aftermath of the battle. Broken weapons, damaged armor, and scattered debris lay across the landscape. Each piece told a story of human skill and courage. Each mark in the dust was proof that one human, alone, could face impossible odds and survive. Lily paused and knelt for a moment, picking up a small rock and letting it roll through her fingers. She thought about what had just happened. Humans had survived countless dangers on Earth. They had faced predators, natural disasters, and wars. But here, on an alien moon, they had shown something more. Humans had shown that their greatest strength was not strength alone, but intelligence, adaptability, and courage. That truth would be remembered, not just by her, but by every alien who had witnessed it. The wind stirred the dust again. Lily straightened and continued walking, keeping her eyes on the horizon. The battle was over, but the war in the galaxy would continue. There would be more encounters, more threats, and more challenges. But humans had proven that they could survive. Humans had proven that they could outthink, outmaneuver, and outfight enemies who believed themselves superior. She reached a small ridge and looked down at the valley below one last time. The aliens had retreated, leaving their wounded and their machines behind. Lily smiled faintly. She had done what she came to do. She had survived. She had defeated the enemy. And she had shown the galaxy something important. Humans were not weak. Humans were not predictable. Humans were dangerous when underestimated. Her communicator beeped softly. A message from the command ship flickered on the screen. Mission complete, area secured, humans victorious. Lily replied with a short confirmation. She had done more than survive. She had proven the human way, strategy, patience, skill, and courage above all. She turned and began walking toward the extraction point. Each step was careful but confident. The sun dipped lower, casting the red dust in golden light. The battlefield behind her was quiet now. She did not look back, but the memory of the fight remained. Every shot, every move, every decision had mattered. Humans had adapted and survived, and that was the ultimate victory. The alien leader would live to tell its people about the battle, about the human who had destroyed soldiers and machines with precision and calm. That story would spread. The humans would become something more than just an opponent. They would become a legend. One human could change the outcome of an entire encounter. One human could teach aliens a lesson they would not forget. Lily walked on, her boots crunching in the red dust. She felt the weight of her revolvers, the heat from the sun, and the calm that comes after a fight. She had faced impossible odds and had come out alive. She had won because humans did not follow rules, they made their own. Humans adapted, humans survived, humans overcame. As the extraction ship's lights appeared in the distance, Lily Harper paused for a moment. She took a deep breath, feeling the cool metal of her revolvers and the solid ground beneath her feet. She had fought alone, against enemies who had thought themselves stronger, smarter, and more powerful. And she had won. She had proven that humans were more than numbers, more than prey. They were clever, adaptable, and unstoppable. She climbed aboard the ship, feeling the engines hum beneath her feet. The alien moon receded in the distance. She looked out at the red dust, the broken machines, and the scattered soldiers. She knew the story of this battle would be remembered. She had shown the truth about humans. One human could face impossible odds and survive. One human could defy theory, outthink enemies, and overcome danger. Lily Harper sat back in her seat, finally letting herself relax. The revolvers were still at her side, but for the first time she felt a moment of peace. She had fought, she had won, and she had survived. Humans had proven themselves again. The galaxy had learned a lesson that would echo for years. Never underestimate the human factor. The red dust of Kepler-47b disappeared behind the ship. The sun dipped lower on the horizon, casting long shadows across the alien landscape. Lily looked forward to the stars, to the next mission, to the next challenge. She knew humans would survive anything the universe could throw at them. Humans adapted, humans endured, humans conquered, and Lily Harper had proven it.